You can follow him. You don't get bored listening to him.
The infectious energy that he has, I want to have more of that in my talks.
We need more people like him.
This is a man who's an expert. It's a man who has years of wisdom and experience, and that comes through very clearly. He speaks with authority.
Good speakers can stand and deliver a presentation. Great speakers can use the energy of the audience to feed them powerful content that is transformational.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Kemp. I'm Vice President of the Professional Speakers Association of Southern Africa. The gem of the whole group of speakers that we've just heard today has got to be Dr. Wilbert Mutoko, who has just given us an amazing presentation. He set the tone for the entire event, spoke right to our hearts in terms of what we need to know and what we can aspire to as speakers.
Hi there, Ross here from the Professional Speakers Association of Southern Africa. Listening to Dr. Wilbert is fantastic. The excitement that he generates is just spellbinding.
The audience loved it and they were totally quiet, but they laughed at the appropriate moments that show me they were listening to him, and when he did do something they responded, so that shows me they really listened, they followed him, and they engaged whenever they needed to. I'm Wilmien Davis. I'm an executive coach and a team coach, helping companies and helping individuals to change and to find the culture that will work for them in the workplace. What I loved the most about Dr. Mutoko is how he had honesty. He brings you the truth, whether you want it or not. He talks from experience, from real life experience, and he's making it practical that you can take those points and implement it immediately.
He speaks with authority, with clarity, but he also speaks with passion, and that's a beautiful combination. So we get from him a lovely free flow of him sharing his heart in an inspiring way and not being too limited by just him being an expert, but actually being an expert who shares his heart and connects with his audience.
You're about to go on a journey with Dr. Wilbert Mutoko, a dynamic global inspirational and leadership speaker, author, and change management coach. By the end of the 18 minutes that follow, you will have received a relevant, practical, and functional step-by-step process to becoming a speaker that breaks new heights.
So a few weeks ago, my organization and I invited 3 speakers to a webinar. And we sent the Zoom meeting details to each of the 3 speakers. We were very glad, we were very excited because we knew what these top-notch speakers would deliver. Now, the day of the seminar, very early in the morning, I got a message from one of the speakers. I will call him Speaker A. He's a very good guy. He's a top-notch business consultant and speaker. And we had called him before to speak, but you see, we last called him before COVID-19 came in. So I just assumed that obviously with the caliber of speaker that he is and consultant, it's obvious that by now he is using online resources. To my surprise, the morning just before the webinar started, this guy, Speaker A, he says to me, Wilbert, I have a challenge. I'm like, what is the challenge? He says to me, I do not have a stable Wi-Fi. Not only that, I have never presented on Zoom. For a moment, I was taken away. I was like, what are we going to do? Because most of the people in our organization are working from home. I was working from home that morning as well. So I could not go to the office to assist him. Then I had to hurriedly start speaking to each of my co-workers to say, where are you working today? Are you working in the office? Are you working at home? And everybody's working from home, except one of our workmates who said, yes, I'm going to be in the office. So to cut the long story short, Speaker A had to go to our office and he had to be helped by 2 of my colleagues to set up on Zoom and, to be able to present on Zoom. He presented very well. It was excellent. It was a learning curve for him. I'm not sharing this story to look down on him, but just to say to us, as we are talking innovation, as we are talking creativity, as we are talking the future, As we are talking change management, it is important for us to push ourselves beyond limits so that we can do what we have never done before. As you have already been told, my name is Wilbert Mutoko, and I'm so happy to be speaking to you. So the title of my speech this morning is Harnessing the Future Through Innovation and Change. Harnessing the future through innovation and change. We are all aware that the future is already here. That future you and I have been waiting for is here. So what are some of the things that you need to do for you to harness the future, to take advantage of the future, to grab opportunities as they come, and ensure that your business will survive and grow even post the COVID-19 pandemic? Just a quick reminder, droughts always come and go. Famines always come and go. Recessions always come and go. Depressions come and go. Even the flu pandemic. We have had 4 very deadly flu pandemics in the past, which include the Spanish flu, the Hong Kong flu, and so on. 4 of them. There were some businesses being run at that juncture. There were people with careers at that juncture, and they had to survive. Unfortunately, we lost millions of lives during that time. So do not be overtaken. Do not be so overwhelmed by the fact that we have this COVID-19 pandemic. I see it as something that will come and pass. The same way it came, it will go. But you must grow. Your business must grow. So let me start by giving you some working definitions. Creativity. Creativity, we are simply talking about being able to come up with new ideas. It could be ideas like inventions. It could be ideas that make your processes better. But innovation goes a step ahead of creativity, because innovation is you now being able to commercialize your ideas. It's you being able to make money from the ideas that you have created. And then, of course, change, I would take it as doing things differently. Doing things in a way that you haven't done in the past. And of course, we all know what management is. Management, you're talking of planning, controlling, coordinating, and leading. So if you are going to harness the future, you need to be able to be innovative, not only to be innovative, but to lead innovation. Now, for innovation to take place, it means you must be excellent at change management. Some people have ideas. Some people are creative, but they are not able to innovate. They are not able to commercialize their ideas. The few that are able to commercialize their ideas, which means they are able to innovate, their problem is they fail in change management, which then affects the innovation. So number one thing that I think is very important for you to be innovative and for you to do change management properly, the first thing is personal development. As a leader, as a speaker, how good are you at developing yourself? The number one investment that you can ever make is investing in you. You are the number one asset for your business. You are the number one asset for your organization. How good are you at developing yourself? Since the COVID-19 was declared a pandemic in 2020, March, how much have you developed yourself emotionally? How much have you developed yourself spiritually? How much have you developed yourself physically in terms of your health? How much have you developed yourself in terms of socializing? That is, in terms of your relationships, in terms of networking. Now that in many countries there have been lockdowns after lockdowns, there have been curfews and all that, how good are you at networking so that you can network even online? And how good are you at personal finance? So personal development is very key in your success in harnessing the future through innovation and change management. If you are not willing to change, how then do you expect anything to change? Nothing is going to change around you until you change. Sometimes we expect things to change outside. Sometimes we expect things to change in the government, in the economy, in the rest of the globe. No, change begins with you. Top CEOs, top leaders, they read one book per week. When was the last time you read a book? Not just reading, but implementing what you have read. Which book did you last read? Which book are you currently reading? Do you have times for meditation? Do you have quiet times when you talk to yourself? Personal development is key. Now more than ever, you need to develop yourself. If you don't develop you, nothing is going to develop. Even your business cannot grow beyond your level. Your capacity, your personal capacity, determines the capacity of your enterprise. All right? And then, so when we look at Speaker A that I mentioned earlier in my opening story, you realize that this gentleman could have been doing other things well, but he did not develop himself to learn how to do things online. I will not blame him. I don't know the cause of that. But being a reputable speaker, it means that he did not take time and invest in making sure that he has got good lighting, he has got good Wi-Fi, he learns how to use Zoom. Honestly, it was an error on my side as well when I invited him and I just sent him a Zoom link. I just assumed that this is more than a year since the pandemic started, and I have interviewed more than 20 entrepreneurs during this period. And as soon as the pandemic kicked in, I started doing coaching online, coaching CEOs of enterprises, some of them with companies that have employees beyond 1,000, 1,400 employees. Coaching directors, coaching managers, meeting them on MS Teams or on Zoom. So I assume that everybody out there, obviously they are doing their consultancy, they are doing their training, they are doing their online learning and everything online. That was a mistake on my part. I thought Speaker A already had mastered those things. And the mistake on his side is that he didn't tell me in advance that, hey, man, you have sent me a Zoom link, but I don't know how to use this thing. He should have told me in advance so that we could have helped him. How good are you in using online resources as an individual? I remember speaking to one of the multimillionaires that I interviewed when I was trying to get some information during one of the lockdowns. I was interviewing this multimillionaire, and he was saying to me that one of the major strengths in his life and in his organization is that he has become a citizen of the internet. He is no longer a visitor. He is now a citizen of the internet. He understands the online world. He understands the virtual world. He has decided to become a citizen. Who do you call yourself, a citizen, or you would call yourself a visitor? All right? So the first thing is personal development. Number two is organizational learning. Organizational learning is very key. Yes, as an individual, probably as a speaker, as a CEO, as a director, as a manager, as a supervisor, yes, you are reading books, but how about your team? You are doing coaching, you're going for coaching, you're going for mentorship. What about your team? If you are not empowering your team, they will remain behind. They will definitely remain behind, and you'll be wondering what's wrong with these people. Coupled with organizational learning, let's not forget research. Because when it comes to innovation, whether you're innovating processes or you're innovating products, you're coming up with new product development, look, you can't do it effectively without research. Look at the most successful countries in the world. They are very good at research. Look at the most successful companies in the world. They have research and development funds. They have research and development departments that work very hard to ensure that they don't go obsolete. What happened to Nokia? What happened to Kodak? What happened to Blockbuster? What happened to some of these companies that could be leading today and they are no longer leading? We can learn from them. You need to continuously research and know what's happening. And for speakers, it's not different. Do you understand the needs of your market? The changing needs of the market, do you understand them? How much do you understand them? When was the last time you carried out an environmental scan? So that you can understand the needs of the market and you can understand the changes, the political changes, the impact of the economical changes, the impact of everything that is happening around you. Do you understand that? When was the last time you researched or you engaged a consultant to research? Organizational learning is key to organizational development. That's why serious organizations actually have libraries as well, where their employees can actually borrow books. These days, there has to be so much training going on. There has to be so much coaching going on. There has to be so much mentoring going on in organizations. Otherwise, especially as speakers, you will just get obsolete. You will be forgotten. It will be difficult for you to harness the future through innovation and change management. All right. So finally, number 3, we said number 1 is personal development. Number 2 is organizational learning. Number 3 is resource mobilization. Remember, we said management has to do with planning, controlling, coordinating, and leading. You need to be able to coordinate resources within your organization. You have physical resources, you have financial resources, you have human capital or human resources. And for me, human resources stands out as the most important thing that you need. How good is your human capital? How good are your human resources? Can you comfortably say your team knows what to do at this juncture? Can you comfortably say your team is fully supported? Enough counseling, enough coaching, enough training, enough empowerment is taking place, and enough motivation. Because sometimes the leaders, they forget. They read books so that they can talk to others. They don't empower themselves. They lack personal development. Then it gets worse because even the organization cannot learn anything when the leader is not learning anything new. Now, make matters worse, how do you then mobilize resources? People are working from home right now. Do all your teammates have enough technology to support them? Do they have the gadgets? Do they have the good and comfortable seats and tables or desks in their homes? How often do you communicate with them? The rate of stress and depression has gone up right now. Stress is not only for leaders. Remember, your team is also very stressed. They are wondering what's next. Maybe you go for a month or 2 months without business. There's a lot of stress surrounding that. But what are you doing as a leader so that you can harness the future? When was the last time you researched? When was the last time you did training for your team? When was the last time you organized coaching and mentorship for your team? When was the last time that you carried out an environmental scan? When was the last time that you have done some things that will take your organization to the next level? Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.
Hi there, my name's Richard Mulvey. I'm a member of the PSASA, past president, and general good guy. And I have to tell you, I've just watched Dr. Wilbert making the most amazing presentation. Inspiring, real content. You have to get him to come to your keynote if you want somebody who's going to motivate your team, get them to get up and do stuff.